Which is the best composite heater? I took 3 popular brands and I put them to the test to be able to review for you guys which is the one heater that rules them all. Hi, I'm Jazz Gulati. I'm a general dentist. I'm a total dental nerd, and I'm the host of Protrusive Dental Podcast. I'll be comparing the Incidental heater. Which itself isn't actually a heater, it's an aluminium base that you put on a coffee cup heater, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Then we're comparing it to the Bryant heater, aka C-Flo. Now, I've got version 1 of this. I think they've got a newer one out, C-Flo 2, but just bear in mind that I'm comparing the C-Flo, the original one. And then a newcomer to the market, Bad Fire. What a wonderful name, right? My nurse was very confused about bad. She's like, why would you call a dental product bad? Well, it's biomimetic and aesthetic dentistry. And I believe it's Dr. Bill Geekiest from Australia. And I just have to make a little bit of a confession here right now, right? This is not a sponsored video. There is no financial incentive. No one's paid me to say anything here. But I will make very clear that actually all 3 of these guys I see as friends, right? Bill's a relatively recent acquaintance. I've been following his Instagram stuff online. I've been a fan of Bryant's for a long time. I've known Connor since he was working part-time and doing his loops on the side. I own 2 pairs of Bryant loops, and Incidental are friends of mine as well. We actually worked a little bit together when he was designing this, and he actually designed it originally on the Cosori heater, which is the one that I made famous all those years ago. He's now suggesting a different heater because they've since increased the price of Cosori, and they've also put this annoying pressure sensor on, like a weight sensor, which is no good if you're heating a couple of compules. But anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying that I'm friends with all 3, but I will be telling you which is the one that I'll be keeping and I'll be using. So if you stay to the end of the video, you'll know which one I like the most and why. Okay, so the first thing to address is, should we be heating composite? And in my opinion, the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 is yes, we should be. The amount of evidence I've seen to suggest it's completely safe to do so, and actually it may have mechanical benefits of doing so, like increased polymerization, increased mechanical properties like wear resistance, for example. And that's again due to increased polymerization. But for me, the handling, the composites that I use just handle so much better when they're heated. I also reduce the amount of voids that I get. So I've been heating composite for years and I haven't seen an issue. Of course, it has to be controlled heating using a composite heater. So I've been using all sorts of composite heaters and I'll tell you which is the best one today. But what the evidence base suggests at the moment is somewhere between 54 and 60 degrees Celsius, it is safe to do so. And there are some people who are against heated composite, and I would like to see your evidence, please. So please comment below if you have some evidence to suggest that we shouldn't be heating it. But all these 3 companies I'll be reviewing obviously will state that heating composite is beneficial, and they wouldn't have created a product if it wasn't. Now I'll spend a few minutes just looking at each heater one by one. I won't spend too long, just like a minute each, and I'll start with the one that I acquired first. The first one I got was the C-Flo. C-Flo now is like an upgraded, like a 2.0 version. It's like a pro version. So I'm using the original. You can just see like it's really slick, right? It's got all the indications, local anesthetic, composite compules in a gun. You can actually put a whole syringe in there as well. The build quality of this is really good. And they suggest, yes, you should also use it to heat your hypochlorite. That's why they got a range of different temperatures on their product. The C-Flo's got like these different attachments. So for example, if you're doing like veneers, it's got a little attachment, that like a magnetic plate that sits on the main base. You can like plug it in. Then you've got your daily composite LA warmer one. You've also got a special one if you're doing like some of those smile fast, those stent based systems. You've got composite inside and you want to keep those heated. They've got a special little thing for that as well. So it's very versatile. The build quality is fantastic. And I'll tell you a bit later how it performed in terms of speed of heating and trueness of the temperature. Now, the price of C-Flo Pro is clearly on the website. It's $694 GBP, including VAT. That's probably around about $950 US. Actually, correction, is just shy of $900 US. So this is the most expensive of the 3 heaters. Makes sense to me because I told you the build quality is actually really good. And it probably costs more money to make one of these than the other 2 retail for. So if you're looking for something that's dependable, really high end, this was really good. And you'll see at the end if this is the one that I'm gonna be using forever or not. So it is pricey, but I can see why. The build quality is just phenomenal. I don't remember how much the C-Flo original one was. Maybe it's £400-500. And just remember that's the one that I'm showing in this video. I'm not showing the C-Flo Pro, which I imagine is even better than what I'm showing you. The next one I acquired was the Incidental one. Okay, so this is by a company called Incidental Limited. They've been on the podcast before. Chris O'Connor is a friend of mine. They sell a range of products from hand pieces to matrices and whatnot. So great bunch of guys, and they designed this. And the trick here is that it's just aluminium, like an aluminium base on top of which you can insert your local anesthetic, your composite guns, your large composite syringes. And they've got these different compartments which are really cool, like for restorative like veneers, or you want to keep your onlays hot, you got like a labeled right and left thing going on. It looks very smart, it's very good. The build quality is great because it's kind of like unbreakable, right? It's just a metal chunk, right? The only thing that can go wrong is the heater itself. So it uses the model of using a coffee cup heater, right? So all those years ago, I think it was maybe 2019, I discovered that there was a coffee heater called Kusori that I tried, and I loved it, and I recommended it to all of you, and must have been thousands of you purchased it. I then went to courses, and they all had this Kusori brand, okay? So I was the first person to talk about that. There's not many things that I own or I invented or I made famous, but that one, I'm gonna own that one, okay? I'll claim that one. The reason why they don't use that one anymore is because now the newer models of Kusori, they've got this like a weight sensor on it, and that weight sensor is really annoying. Like, because if you just want to heat a couple of compules, you need to meet a minimum weight, and that's not good. So that's why they've moved, and I think it's a great move. We've got a nice heater plate for £26 here, so it's about $30 US, and that comes separately. So in total, you're looking at approximately 195 GBP. That one I did get right. It's much cheaper than the C-Flo. And remember, it doesn't heat itself. You need to get the heating plate, but together they're about $250 US. So much more affordable. And it's still got a wide range of applications. Like, it's got plenty of space for you to put stents inside, your restorations, and all the right slots to put your LA and composite. But how does it perform when we're trying to heat it up? How long does this aluminium take to heat up? We'll find out in a minute when I put them to the test. But the last one I want to talk about is the Bad Fire. This is pretty much a brand new heater. According to Dr. Bill Gergis, it's the world's best dental heater, which is good. I like someone to have confidence when they launch a product. Like all three of these heaters, by the way, are like for dentists by dentists, which I love. You know, I love the whole for dentists by dentists model. And straight away, the price is like, this is Aussie dollars, right? 330 Aussie dollars, which is 165 GBP, which is approximately $200 US. Okay, 210 almost. So this is the cheapest heater. So already many of you be looking to this one to purchase because you're thinking, wow, the price is very, very good. But let's take a look under the hood. It's actually got all the features you need, okay? So the LA, the composite syringe, composite gun, but also a little drawer for your restoration. So it ticks all the boxes. Now, for me though, the thing I love the most is the mirror, okay? A slot to hold the mirror is the main reason I purchased this. Because you're thinking, Jazz, if you already had two heaters, why did you buy a third one? It's because of this, okay? The fact that it had a mirror holder, it meant a lot to me. So I jumped on this right away. And also I've been following Bill for a little while, so I want to support him. So that's the main reason I got it. But did it actually live up to the test? How did it actually perform? Now, to look at performance, three basic metrics I'm looking at. One is how quickly it heats up. And maybe it's Monday morning and your nurse is running around like a headless chicken and there hasn't been a chance to switch on the heater. By the time you pick up that resin for that first patient, you want it to be nice and hot. So the speed of heating is not the be all and end all, but it's kind of important, and it's important to me. The way I measured this was how long it took to get the entire heater to the right temperature. And it was kind of like a race between the Incidental versus the Bad versus the C-Flo because I had them on at the same time. So the results for this one is the winner was Bad Fire. That one heats up to the target temperature very quickly, but what that target temperature means, because it goes from red to green. So once it reaches green, that means it's reached the right temperature, and it gets there really quickly, but that's not true, because that just means the internal part of the heater is hot. You still have to wait for the actual black metal piece in which you put your local anesthetic, composite, mirror, whatever you want. So you have to give it time. So although it reaches the target temperature quickly, you still need time for it to get hot. The way I did it, I had a little measuring probe, a temperature probe, and I put it in all three heaters. And I kind of timed how long it takes to get hot to the desired temperature. And in third place for speed was the Incidental heater. Because it's just an aluminium base and it's pulling up all the heat from the hot plate, I found it took a long time for it to actually conduct the heat. We're talking about 25-30 minutes. I know this because I saw a checkup and I checked again, and I saw a review and I checked it again, and finally it was there basically. So somewhere between 25 and 35 minutes basically is how long the Incidental heater took to get hot. And I set all three of the heaters to 55 degrees to make it a fair test. In second place for speed was was the C-Flo. It took about 15 minutes to get to target temperature. So therefore, in first place was bad fire. It took around about 8 minutes or so to get to target temperature. The green light will have you think it gets to target temperature in 1 minute, but no. By the time the actual black insert inside gets hot, I found it's about 8 minutes or so. So speed of heating, the winner is bad fire. The second metric to test is trueness of temperature. So for example, if a heater says it's 55 degrees, how close does my probe get to the 55 degrees? So all these were tested once all three were hot for a long time, so they can't really get any hotter. So that was their maximum heat for 55 degrees. So then I put the probe in, I waited 1 minute, and I made sure that the temperature was not changing anymore, that it's reached its final destination. And in third place was again the incidental heater. Whilst the coffee cup heater said 55 degrees, it was giving me 44 degrees on the probe. And you know what? This is not the end of the world, because as long as you know the formula, you know that whatever temperature it says on the coffee cup warmer, that you've got to kind of decrease 10%, or in this case, 20%. And as long as you can make that mental calculation, it's not the end of the world. But it's important to know what you're getting. What is your trueness of the temperature? So 55 degrees on the incidental was actually 44 degrees on my probe. In second place was bad fire. 55 degrees on the bad was actually 50 degrees exactly on my probe. Remember, we're talking Celsius. So all my American friends, please don't panic. We're talking Celsius here. That's a lot more in Fahrenheit. So pretty good, but about a 10% discrepancy with bad. In first place for trueness was the C-Flo. Okay, that came to about 53 degrees. But actually reading the literature now on the C-Flo Pro, I've got this copy here that the C-Flo 2.0 heats within 0.1 degrees Celsius of your desired temperature. That's pretty impressive. And you know what? If Brian say that, I believe them. Because already this original C-Flo was so close to target temperature that it's quite exciting that they've made a product that actually reaches, so you know your composite is actually that temperature that you see in your setting. So how important is this? Well, it's important because you want to know that the temperature that you're seeing is a temperature that your composite's actually getting. And you have to bear in mind that our composites, for example, our compules, when you put them in the gun, they're inside a plastic compule. So even that has to conduct some heat to actually get the composite warm. There's so many different layers to get through by the time you get to the composite. And our instruments, our overlays, and our composites, they cool very quickly as well. So it's important to get them to the right temperature, maybe slightly beyond. So it is important. However, if you have the incidental one, then you just got to do some maths, right? Like if you want it at 60, you're just gonna have to put it to around about 72 to 75 degrees Celsius to get 60 on your base, and hopefully that will actually transfer through to your composite. The third metric is functionality. How many different uses can you get out of it? So the great thing about these heaters is that you can use them for your onlays and veneers, and all three can do that. You can use them for your LA, they all have attachments. You can use them for your compule with the gun hanging on it. You can use it for your big composite syringes. They've all got compartments that you can actually theoretically put big stents inside. And they're also big enough, like if you wanted to shield your aligner attachments with the composite inside your template, and you wanted to just warm it up a little bit and have enough space to keep it in one of these heaters, all three have enough space. I think. I didn't actually test the C-Flo one to see if it actually put a aligner template in, but it's pretty big. It's spacious, and I think where you put the veneers and crowns and stuff, I think that is good enough. So generally, the functionality is all the same, except the bad fire has this one secret weapon, this secret slot, which is the main reason I bought it. It's got the slot for the mirror. Bad fire is the only one that talks about heating mirrors. Now, the incidental folk might say, well, you can just use the base plate. You can use the coffee heater part of it to heat the mirror. That's fine, but what if I want to also heat my composites at the same time? Only the bad fire will allow that. So I'm going to give first prize to bad fire and a close second, because actually generally all the other features are there in incidental and C-Flo. Now, the fourth one I'm going to go over is not necessarily aesthetics, right? That's not my main concern. I don't care what they look like too much, as long as they're not like glaringly obvious and they're not offensive. All three are looking absolutely fine to me. And those with more of an aesthetic eye might say that, oh, but this one's truly beautiful and whatnot. Okay, but I don't care so much about that. I care more about, okay, the longevity and the sustainability of the product and the chance of something breaking and going wrong and how much that could cost you. Like, the C-Flo has wonderful build quality. You can tell they use really quality products and materials. But I'm thinking that the C-Flo that I have is discontinued now. So if I wanted to order some new plates and new attachments, what if I lose something? What if something breaks? Is that going to be possible? I'm not sure. Knowing Brian and their customer service, it probably is possible. They'll probably make it happen for you. But I'm just thinking, like, if someone drops it and it breaks, is that going to be an expensive problem? It probably is. You got to factor that in. And what about the bad fire? It looks pretty sturdy. It's like it's sizable, it's sturdy. But it's an electronic product at the end of the day. What if it needs a repair? What if there's a power issue? Well, actually, at the price they have it at, it's not too bad at all. You can just buy a new one because it's pretty decently priced. If you wanted to buy one composite heater and pretty much expect it to last a lifetime, it would be the Incidental one, right? It's literally just an aluminium base. That's it. So it's pretty clever. Yes, it's slow to heat, but it's pretty much nurse proof, right? Okay, I know my nurse hates that word, but it's nurse proof. The only thing that can really go wrong is the hot plate, and you can just get a new one at £25 or $30 odd. So the longevity factor of the Incidental one's probably the highest, and the only sort of upkeep and replacement would be the actual hot plate itself. Whereas eventually, when the C-Flo and when the bad fire breaks down, it's pretty much getting a new one. So if that's important to you, then maybe that's something that you should consider. So let's wrap up. Which one am I going to be keeping? Well, the two that I'll be storing away as my backups and putting in the shelf will be the Incidental and the C-Flo. Like I said, both great products. C-Flo, brilliant build quality. Incidental, so versatile, so clever. It will last forever. I know it's a very trustworthy backup because when I need it, I'm just going to blow off the dust and I'll be able to use it with any hot plate I have. But in terms of speed of heating and the mirror function alone is why the bad fire is now my main heater that I'm training my nurse on. That's the one we're going to be using, Zoe. There's no turning back for a while. I love the lid. I love the fact that you can twist it. I love the versatility. I love how fast it heats up. The trueness of temperature is decent. And no more foggy mirrors. No more nurse blowing the air on my mirror as I'm taking my occlusal photographs. I just love that they put this slot in. So the slot itself is a main reason. So it depends on what's important to you. If it's buy it once and make it last pretty much forever and minimal upkeep, then something like Incidental is great, right? If you wanted something that's very fast heating and then the trueness of the temperature is brilliant, the build quality is fantastic, then the C-Flo. But if you want something that's fantastic price and it's got a mirror slot in, then I would go bad fire. So something in it for everyone, and all three products, all three companies are absolutely fantastic. But my own personal taste dictates that the mirror is the most important thing, the most important functionality, and that's why I'll be using the bad fire. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please like and comment below and hit the subscribe button. Oh, and one more thing. I bought a few of these because the offer was just so good. There was a big discount in this launch in Bill Gergis, and I knew that I'd love this mirror heater so much that I bought 4 of them. So I've got 3 spare just for you guys. There is a competition coming and only those on my email list will get to even know about the competition. So join my emails, go to protrusive.co.uk/emails, sign up, and around about 23rd of December, I'll be sending you an email about how you can get in to win one of these heaters. I'll ship them for free to you. This is not sponsored by Bill. I'm doing this. I paid full price for these, and I want to share the love. And I want to share the love with only those people who subscribe to my emails. I don't spam. I send good stuff, and you can join over 10,000 dentists on my email list. Now giving you another good reason. That's protrusive.co.uk/emails. Watch out for this very easy competition, and you can win yourself a bad fire. And yes, it also comes with a bad composite gun. Remember, that's protrusive.co.uk/emails. Thanks again, I'll catch you in the next review.